Yes, tonight we review the Acclimated.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Yes.
This is totally a can-worthy beer, but I'm getting a glass going.
Yeah, I
right
got
now.
the IPA glasses too.
I only had one clean, so I'm saving that for the second beer.
Mm.
But hey, it's an IPA challenge glass, see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somehow I have 3. I have no idea how that happened.
Dude, who knows ever?
Yeah.
People just leave stuff at everybody's house.
We all end up with each other's glassware from beer festivals gone by. Just as
sometimes you find them when you go grocery shopping, and the bagging person says, "I think you forgot something in your bags," and a couple of your glasses pull them out. Oops. Yeah.
That's juicy.
I got a nice juicy nose. Got some good melon notes, and
If you dip it your nose in deep, there's that Simcoe. Simcoe.
Yep. Clear my sinuses. Come on.
Meow.
Real.
Yeah, just a small bit of chill haze. That's it.
Yeah.
Super clear.
Yep.
Crisp, bright. Yeah, that's a classy pale ale.
Indeed. And the Cumbre made a lot of it, everybody. So if you haven't gotten some yet, please go get some. They really need you to buy it.
Yes,
it's delicious.
It'll help them out.
I think
aside from the other beer that we'll be reviewing tonight, which that'll be coming up here in a bit, Community.
Yep.
Which is the new hazy IPA. Is it a hazy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hazy. I'm gonna set a timer just so we give it equal amount of time-ish.
Okay. This is a hot bomb in the nose, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's
low bitterness otherwise.
Yeah, it's incredibly crushable. Don't get a ton of like dankness on the palate or anything like that. But
no, it's as a pale should be, like a proper old school American pale.
Exactly.
Yep. Does remind, the flavor profile reminds me of, drinking high class Sierra Nevada pale ale at the really shitty dive bar by work in California. That's all we had for back in the early 2000s. It was like Sierra Nevada or Boston Lager.
Yep, one or the other.
If you went to a really fancy place, you might find Fat Tire.
That's true.
I don't know how good they got it nowadays. Oh,
that's nice.
I'm guessing they just threw a ton of either Whirlpool or dry. I mean, probably Whirlpool and dry hopping, and just a minimal initial charge to kind of keep it low. And I mean, you don't want to overwhelm a 5% beer, and that's pretty easy to do with hops. So
yeah,
they got plenty of great aromatics in here, but this is definitely like incredibly drinkable. It's got a kind of a lighter malt base to it here, so it's like really easy drinking.
Yep.
It's a very solid warm weather pale ale. Hopefully I don't have a dirty glass here. I don't think I do. Doesn't look like it. Nope.
I don't know. Let's see.
That would be embarrassing.
Yeah, I poured a beer into a glass the other night. I'm like, oh God, the glass is dirty. And I look closer. I'm like, oh no, the beer is just, oh God, that's old.
Yeah.
It was
end up with the sediment.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Like little sediment.
It won't kill you. Good nutrition. Nutrients.
Like I'm eating
vitamin C, all we can get.
I'm reading the style guidelines for this one, and I really feel like they brewed this basically with every single guideline hit. Color, straw to light amber.
Yep, definitely.
Clarity, chill haze is acceptable at low temperatures.
Yep, just a teeny bit, not really.
Very minimal.
Perceived malt aroma and flavor. Low caramel malt aroma is allowable. Low to medium maltiness may include low caramel malt character.
Yeah, I get like kind of like a C15 or something in there, maybe a little Munich. I don't know. I don't know what the grain bill is, so.
Okay.
It isn't very present. It's just more of a backing to the letting the aroma of the hops shine through, which is what a good classy pale should be.
Yeah. And the body, the mouthfeel is listed as medium, and I think this qualifies as that. It's not thin and it's a pale ale. You don't want it to be thick.
Exactly. With the popularity of IPAs, I mean, a lot of breweries these days tend to skew towards hoppier things. Even more recent pale ales that I can recall around town and in recent memory tend to still be on the pretty hoppier side. So this is definitely we'll say this is just a very kind of throwback to. It is very traditional according to those guideline styles that you just laid out there, Chris. So I mean, yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, I think the main thing is like in recent years now, talking to the brewers themselves, they have talked a lot about there's, what is the fine line between session IPA and pale ale, really? And I think what we've kind of seen now, we saw everyone kind of pivot away from pale ales to the sessions, and now they've switched the other direction now they're kind of going back to more of that classic pale ale. Is I think more and more brewers are starting to experience beer drinkers starting to have similar tastes as they're getting older. I think that's the key thing. Beer geeks are getting older. We are. I mean, with the gray.
Can't see mine, but it's there.
Yeah, and I think because of that, even we are starting to seek out more sessionable beers. For us, for a lot of people, I know big beers now are sharing beers, and obviously, right now we are. I mean, we're here, but we're not passing these pints from one to another. So
No.
I think right now, I've largely, in recent weeks during the shutdown, I've stocked up on more sessionable beers, and where you can have one or two and you're fine. You can just after that.
Yeah, breaking out those bombers of the big beers is just not a doable thing right now. I guess for some of us who really don't have anything to do with absence of work, unfortunately, and having to be in the house. But even then, it's still a dangerous line to walk, breaking open those 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever percent ABV beer.
Higher.
Yes. Dark Side Brew Crew sessionable and beyond.
We don't need to talk about the quintuple from Avery.
Oh, geez.
Winter.
God.
Yeah. Cheers.
Let's not talk about Chris' birthday.
No, that's big for my birthday.
And we're back.
Yep.
Yes.
And we wandered off the reservation again, but we do that. Yep. It's only like the mildest bit of hop on the aftertaste, It's not, but it's not like a change of flavor, which I think is kind of nice. Because sometimes you'll get a hop forward beer and then you get something odd on the back end of the mouth and it just kind of sticks there.
Yep. No, it's just very consistent throughout, start to finish. Nice, clean, little bit of sweetness on the front end, crisp on the back end, and lawnmower beer.
Yeah.
The only real strong hop character I get on the palate is like maybe a lot like mid to midway through around the back, but it's just like kind of hit a little bit on the sides of the tongue there.
Yeah. I think that's.
But it's kind of nice right now with the all the pollen going around. Just clear it out a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
No, so I welcome it.
Yes, the pollen report today read mulberry very high. I went, oh, great.
Yeah.
Look at my neighbor's giant mulberry tree.
Thanks, nature.
Could have guessed.
Ah!
Like they could have just put, "Fuck this! It's right here." It's over 9,000.
It's right here, and it's right here, and it's right here, and it's right here, and oh, bless you, hoppy beers.
Yes.
Yep. Amen to that.
So yes, as I was saying earlier, La Cumbre brewed up, I think Jeff said 210 barrels, so that's 7 runs on their 30-barrel brew house of this beer, because it was brewed right before the shutdown. And so they do have an awful lot of it, so please help them out. I know we usually don't have to encourage people to go drink La Cumbre, but sometimes it's like, ooh, the really, really fun one over there. It's like, get this one too. Balance it out.
Classics never go out of style.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, they do not.
Well, they do sometimes, and then they come back.
Yeah.
And it's like brand new again.
Pale ale is back.
Yeah,
Clear IPA is
just like
back.
Just like Pilsner came back. Pilsner was kind of
Pilsner and lager
for a while.
Yep.
They roared back.
I was happy to see Pilsners come back personally, just because I always appreciate just a nice, crisp lager. It's just something simple and refreshing. And there's been a lot of breweries for about the last 2 years that have been doing more and more of that style. So that's been nice to see.
Yeah,
it's taken off.
Yeah, the variation is nice too. It's not like everyone's sticking to one variant. It's like, oh, okay, Bohemian Pilsner, German Pilsner. And some people are like, well, I don't really have time to lager, so I'm just gonna throw a Kolsch in there. Kind of hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, with the amount of access to different yeast strains for one, I mean that if you brew the same style with different yeast, you're going to get different character, and then the cornucopia hops we have access to, and then just how you treat the beer. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's a whole galaxy of lager and pils.
Yeah, and La Cumbre themselves, they've always done those beers very, very well, in my opinion. I mean, even back when Jeff was just brewing full time after Daniel took over. I mean, that's been one thing that's been really consistent with them and underrated for a while, as far as I was concerned, is that they did Kolsch. What was the recent Kolsch that they had, Chris?
Was it the Miles from Cologne, or?
Perhaps it was.
I mean, that one's been a classic since it first had it years ago.
Anytime it comes out, I'm always excited to see that one. It's just wonderfully delicious and refreshing beer.
Yeah, and of course
you get it in the proper stage.
So yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, I think I always like when Jeff goes to Europe, because I feel like he comes back with ideas.
Yep, and delicious ideas. Yeah, and then they show up with a Dunkel, and then another Schwarzbier, but it's different from the last one they did, and had some new techniques and different grain bills and grist and hops, and I mean it's lovely. It's been a lot of fun to try them all over the years.
And I think another nice thing about this one is, having this pale ale right now. This is, of course, the 40th anniversary of Sierra Nevada.
Sierra.
And it was kind of neat getting to listen to Ken Grossman talk about it and look around the original brew house that they put on a tractor trailer. And I'm sad now that they're not going to be hauling that original brew house all around America to do guest beers in different places. So.
Yeah, that would have been
amazing.
Yeah.
So what can you do?
Nothing but stay home.
Stay at home and drink our beers.
Yes, and please stop rioting at Walgreens. I heard that happened tonight.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, well, for those, but by the time you see this, everyone, you'll probably have heard the governor, her new orders closed the liquor stores. But some people, I guess, just read that meant no liquor sales anywhere, and so they're panic buying everywhere, including at places like Walgreens, and they're getting bad Burqueño at Walgreens and other places, and it's just a lot of hoarding and panic buying, basically, and people are acting stupid. And
So people who are otherwise rational and logic minds maybe are panic buying Mickeys and
Bud
maybe
Light, seltzer,
Colt 45.
Some hams.
And this is not a knock to anyone out there who
No.
I think all of us have had those times in our lives. So
Yes, we
no
have.
disrespect.
Nope.
Yeah. What's there to drink in this stadium? You're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. What do you think? I'll have a Bud Select. All right.
Dark.
And we're back.
Here's
What else is new? All right, is it almost community time?
Sure. Yeah, we got like 5 minutes till that, but it's fine.
and we're back. Literally.
And we're back.
All right. Community.
Mosaic, Equinox,
say,
Nelson, Savan, Simcoe, Strata, and Citra. Hell yeah. That's a list.
Whew. God damn. All right. Hey, I got the same glass there, Chris.
Oh, hey, yeah. We all got the same
Oh, we did.
Did we plan this? No, we did not.
This is the precious glass that we try not to break.
Yeah.
People, we did not plan this. We don't plan anything. We're not good at that. Anyway.
No, we are not.
Because every time you think, oh, there's nothing to do today, and then the governor closes liquor stores and you have to write a post saying, nobody panic!
Don't panic. Just make sure you know where your towel's at. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
I know.
Transported to the tropics. Ah, yeah.
Okay, so like guava, grapefruit,
white wine.
White wine spritzer.
the fucking Catalina wine mixer. All right, I'm done.
Cannabis and peppers.
Yeah. With the Strata, you think the Strata giving off that little bit of peppery aroma?
Yeah. Well, like, tiny like
that and the Equinox.
Equinox, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Glass of juice.
Wow.
And the
fresh
kick.
sweet. Yep. Damn.
Got a good bitter finish too. They didn't pull any punches on it, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hazy, but they hopped it like a normal IPA. Just.
It's not just juice, like citrus notes that normally shine through in that the hazy New England IPA, whatever you want to call it these days, style.
Yeah. I really wouldn't classify any part of this as sweet.
No.
Nope.
Yes.
Tart and lovely. Nice bit of minerality. I'm assuming they probably use some calcium chloride in there just to really sort of balance out with the hops and the oats and maybe wheat. I don't know what they're using there, but yeah, it's a hazy.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm holding up to the light right now, and it's like no light shall
no
pass.
light shines through here.
See, you can have a beer that's like the Abyss, but it doesn't have to be black.
Yep, it's quite true.
That's like the Sunshine Abyss. I'll get back to you on that one.
Don't give me beer ideas. We're gonna do a Golden Abyss or something.
Are we gonna start coming up with ideas on our review channel now?
No. We already came up with one weird beer today. We're doing no more than one per day.
No, we did two. Biscuit Brow and Tzatziki beer.
Oh God, that's right. Oh no.
Tzatziki says
Yeah, that one's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Trademark, or Tzatziki Saison TM. That's trademark.
TM.
Idiotic.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of like fresh pineapple juice with like guava and papaya and passion fruit, just all sort of mixed together, like you get in you get that kind of juice like if you're in Hawaii. A couple spots that we tried there when I was there with relatives. So yeah, I mean, really well done if that was what they were going for.
Yeah, that's definitely tasty. Yeah, like slightly, like a little bit of like grassy hop notes, like just very mild, like very subtle, but just almost kind of like a slight earthiness in the back. It's kind of.
Yeah, which is typical for the style. Just given the amount of green material that you're throwing in there, you're going to get a little chlorophyll. But as with these, like if you release them or start drinking them too soon, then you get a lot more of that, and then it'll sort of shift and more of the other flavors and terpenes will shine through if it let it sit for another week or something. So yeah, it's interesting. It changes over time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that spicy note in it. Honestly, is like the one thing that kind of just like kicks it up a notch for me personally. I'm like, that has like a. Yeah, I can't really. Peppery is really the only way. Showing through it.
Came by and just.
The spice weasel.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fried green pepper sort of in there that just gives it a little bit of. I mean, it really does balance out the rest of the sort of the sweet, grainy kind of mouthfeel. It kind of allows the other flavors to shine where they otherwise kind of would be a bit more muted, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of got your floral mosaic, you've got your sweeter citra, you've got that hugely aromatic Nelson Sauvin, and then cat piss Simcoe, and then
Cannabis Equinox.
Yeah. And
Elias.
And Strata. I don't know, Strata, when it was just like the single hop Stratas, when people would do those, I never really, I don't know, the hop didn't jump out, but when you put it with other hops, I'm like, oh, I like Strata. I like Strata as a complementary hop or as a paired hop. I don't like it as a single hop. So I think in this,
I don't think it. Yeah, it doesn't do just it's not really done justice if it's just a main hop.
Agreed.
Think of it as like supporting cast hop, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely plays well with others.
Yep. And these others in particular, I mean, it's hard to go wrong, but it really does add another layer of complexity that you kind of would have missed. If this was brewed a couple of years ago before Strata became a thing, it would have an entirely more citrus and sort of dank cat piss kind of thing going on. But with Strata, I mean, it really takes it to a whole other tropical kind of interesting fruits, which you wouldn't have otherwise gotten. So
yeah, and I think again we kind of ignore the malts a lot of times in these things, but I like it in the sense that it's not just it's hazy, but it's hoppy, and it's got a good chewiness to it almost without being too pronounced. It just
it's not too cloying.
Yeah, it hits that mouthfeel just right in this one. So I can see why. I'm almost surprised there were still some 4-packs left. So hopefully there still are.
How would you say I mean, and I know there are four different. This is the fourth in the series that La Cumbre's done with their kind of hazy specialty series they're currently done. How do you think that this one holds up to the other ones, if you guys can recall those specific beers?
I'm pretty sure I had samples.
I've had a few. Can't recall which ones off the top of my head, but I mean, in any event, like usually it's a little more pronounced in terms of, say, one particular flavor. And this is kind of a layered approach with a bunch of different nuances that aren't necessarily there. Like, for example, if you were doing a simple, just straight strata or straight equinox, or, just a pair of two of them, you wouldn't quite get this depth of character. Not to say they're bad. I mean, they're just, at least to me, a little less interesting.
Yeah.
But
I
each
think
their own.
there's an argument for sort of a simplicity, because it can help you understand, if you have two primary hops, and you can understand a little better how each of them works and how they play off against one another. But I think in the case of this one, in the case of most people who drink these beers at La Cumbre, they're capable of understanding, okay, there's 6 hops in here, so they're all coming together. How are they playing off one another? And I think this is the reward at the end of the tunnel for all the serious or self-serious beer geeks who come to the Cumbre, who inhabit it. And I think a lot of the breweries would struggle to actually do this kind of beer.
Yeah.
I was talking with someone about, like, which are the beer geek breweries, which are the more generally popular breweries, and La Cumbre is one of the few that can transition to both.
Yep.
They can appease a more casual beer drinker, but they also still do these releases, because sometimes other breweries, they only do these releases on tap. That's the only place they're going to put them. And whereas La Cumbre is one of the breweries that can put, like, for a lot of you, this will be weird, but for some of you, you're going to buy a case. So here you go. And I definitely view this, at the end of this, because of its complexity, it's literally the reward. You drank the previous 3. Here's this one. Cheers.
Yep.
Well put. Yeah. La Cumbre does have a knack for being able to. I think they became renowned for their IPAs, of course, with Elevated, of course, back in the day, and then you transition after a while to Dank, which, of course, still, since it's just kind of intended to be an evolving beer, that one still comes out in different incarnations, changes, and just continuously impresses me. And then these specialty series that they've got into now over the last few years, these style of beers, it's still impressive. It's definitely, this is a complex IPA for what I think some people maybe consider. I've talked to some people who maybe consider this maybe just kind of a niche style, which is just supposed to be like a glass of juice with some hops thrown in, and it's more than that. And there's definitely an art to this type of beer, which I've kind of grown to appreciate a little bit more over time, but it definitely is something that not all breweries can accomplish well. I think Cumbre has definitely proven that they can.
Yeah, it's not an easy style to pull off. I mean, dealing with the amount of hops that you're dealing with, and trying to ensure that you end up with low oxygenation when you're dry hopping, because there are huge dry hop bills on these. And then hop creep is another factor to think about. And I mean, there's a whole can of worms. I mean, it's a newer style, so of course there are going to be some difficulties. But I think the great ones really fine tune. Well, this is going to be our approach. We are going to maybe have a little more minerality and bitterness to balance out all the juiciness on this one, or maybe we're going to go all juice, or maybe we're going to, but I mean, it's kind of finding your own theme, so to speak, and playing on that tune. Hey, Dr. Rorschach.
Kitty! He has arrived.
Oh boy.
He's
Parrot
helping.
cat, you're not on the shoulder. You're not on the shoulder. Turn back around. Yeah, I
You
think
don't know where to go.
the kind of the big thing, talking about the hazy IPAs and the hype that's built around a lot of them nowadays. The one thing I like about the Cumbre is too, this is still an IPA. It's not one of these milkshake IPAs, which is kind of taking things to that next level of extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you're right, Franz, when you say that these beers are really hard to do. And look at Ex Novo. Ex Novo's become a great brewery here in town very quickly, in large part because Dave Chichura is one of the most experienced brewers in the country. And even they've had recent releases where they've been like, oops, well, we're not releasing that hazy today. Check back Wednesday. So it just goes to show that even experienced brewers, this is a hard style to pull off. It's harder than people think it is. And, more power to Daniel and Jeff and Alan and their whole brew team, and that just in the simple fact they release these on time. They've never had to delay the release of one of these beers, and that alone is remarkable in this day and age.
Yep.
Yeah. Nom nom.
Oh, we no longer have a time limit, by the way.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I assume these are among the many Zoom upgrades to avoid, Tovarish coming in and
Tovarish.
Perestroika.
That just means all you people out there get to hear us ramble on for hours. Maybe not that.
You're with us now forever and ever.
Yeah, you don't want to see us after a couple hours.
No, you don't. Because then all of a sudden somebody's going to run and get the Toltec growler, and then it's all going to be downhill.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Once 11 p.m. passes, shit gets real weird.
All bets are off.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
This is a reasonable place to park.
Hey, that Babylon 5 rerun looks great. Let's watch it.
Yeah,
guys, I've wandered into the Stargate. Literally.
Yeah.
But the great thing about the style guidelines here is that juicy or hazy pale ale is. Oh wait, that's juicy or hazy pale. Where are you?
Yeah, no, let's get the IPA. Hang on.
Yeah.
Strong.
I actually did not pull those ones up, so yeah, you would indulge us read them off there, Chris, when you can get them.
Okay, here we go. Juicy or hazy India pale ale. These are all on the Brew Association website. If you ever wanted to go and just wonder to yourself sometimes, what happened, what makes this beer great or that beer great, or how are they judged when they go to GABF and the other big competitions. If you go to the Brewers Association website, just brewersassociation.org, go to education and look up beer styles. And it's a really easy way to get a good idea of, but my favorite beer didn't win in that category. Why not? Well,
can give you at least some idea.
Yeah, some idea, because in the end, it's
subjective.
Yeah. What judge you get in what year? All right, so juicy or hazy India pale ale. Color, straw to deep light amber.
Yeah, that's straw. That's straight straw. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, clarity. Low to very high degree of cloudiness is typical of these beers.
Yeah, let's see. Let me shine a light.
Like there's.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go with very high degree of cloudiness. Perceived malt aroma and flavor. Low to medium low malt aroma and flavor may be present.
Yeah, it's all hop pretty much.
Yeah, I give this one though a medium low on the malt. Like I can still, it's there. Maybe not flavor wise, but you can still.
I'd say high low.
Yeah, high hop, low.
It's there, but it's very much.
Okay. Perceived aroma or perceived hop aroma and flavor, medium high to very high hop aroma. Yeah. Okay, and medium high to very high flavor are present with attributes typical of hops from any origin. So, all right, yeah. You let them, and yes, when beers are entered in a competition, the submitting brewery does let the judges know what hops they use. So, perceived bitterness, low to medium. The impression of bitterness is soft and well integrated into overall balance and may differ significantly from measured or calculated IBU levels. This is the Brewers Association way of saying, me.
Yeah, I mean, asterisk there.
Yeah.
So when you're adding dry hops or whirlpool hops, what we're finding is that there is a type of bitterness that's added from them. It just differs in some respects from the others. I don't really want to go into the technical because I'll bore everyone with death. But in any event, you are still getting some bitterness from dry hopping and whirlpool hops. They're just not. It's not as the same type of bitterness that you're getting from, say, a 60 or 90-minute addition. So.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's a big reason why, like in a traditional IPA, 100 IBUs is strong to very strong depending on the region and the person, but most hazies are much less that on IBU scales. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to taste bitterness. It's just how it's graded out. Let's see, fermentation characteristics. Ooh, we're gonna get really nerdy here. Medium to medium high fruity esters are present and can contribute to the perception of sweetness and be complementary to the hop profile. Diacetyl should not be present. Don't taste a drop of diacetyl, so yeah.
No. Yeah, you definitely get at least a little bit of like a fruity ester from the yeast on this one. As is kind of classic for the style, you're using like kind of typically a London ale type of yeast, which does give off some more of the fruity type esters. And that just kind of goes hand in hand with what the style was kind of about, which was showcasing some of the more interesting newer hops, just like you're going to the grocery store and picking up a bunch of mangoes and pineapples and juicing them. So, but in beer form.
Yeah, I always get a slight hint of berry that comes out the yeast like that, and kind of like that. Okay, body, so aka mouthfeel. Medium low to medium high, a silky or full mouthfeel may contribute to overall flavor profile. I put this on the higher end.
It's definitely pretty smooth. It's
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's accomplished with using oats and or wheat, and calcium chloride tends to be an addition that helps with that too. So
yeah, and then it finishes with additional notes, which are grist may include oats, wheat, or other adjuncts to promote haziness. Lactose may be used to enhance body and balance, but we know there's no lactose in this beer. Because breweries pretty much universally will tell you if there's lactose included, because they know there's people who are intolerant, and last thing they want is anyone throwing up their beer all over the table or the bar.
Exactly.
So now to give you all that image,
and we're back.
Yes, exactly. I love this. The term juicy, yes, quotes, is frequently used to describe taste and aroma attributes often present in these beers, which result from late, often large additions of hops.
And by large, we mean ludicrous, like buckets and buckets of hops, which are not cheap either.
No, they're not.
That's kind of the insane thing about this style, is just how many hops are thrown in, and then how delicate and fragile the style is. So it has to be drunk really quickly, and you're throwing a lot of money.
It's a big reason that for a long time people didn't really package these except in small batches, because because everyone used to ask for years, well, why hasn't this brewery did a great hazy, why haven't they packaged it? This brewery did a great hazy, why haven't they packaged it? Figuring out a way to actually put a hazy IPA in cans. Take the one from Bosky, they took them multiple trials to get that beer right, so where it was actually sustainable on shelves, because they know that odds are, if you're selling it through Whole Foods and Smith's and Albertsons and those types of places, there's a chance that beer may sit on that shelf for 4 to 6 weeks. And you still want it to be drinkable. You don't want someone's first impression of your brewery to grab that beer, not see the expiration date, take a sip and go, blah, this brewery's terrible. So
Yeah.
it was an issue for
On that note, the other really hard part, especially about this style, because you're going for a hazy profile, is that protein from oats and wheat, if in high enough quantity and depending on your yeast and a bunch of other factors, you can end up with little floating bits of protein that coagulates if it's let to sit for too long. So that's yet another complication to this particular style.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing here.
Yay. And to think, probably a few years ago, I'd looked at this and gone, no.
This can't be good.
I think our collective, amongst us three, I mean, that was kind of the consensus for a long time. That as we, as long as it's not a beer that will kill any of us with allergens or anything like that. Yep. Right.
That's me.
There. Right there. Yeah. I mean, we'll try it. And over time, it was just, it's becoming more and more impressed with the breweries that were putting out this style of beer. It's still definitely not on the tops of my list, but I mean, this definitely is something that I would drink again. I mean, this is fucking delicious as far as I'm concerned. I think they knocked it out of the park with this one, honestly.
Yep.
And I think there's a psychological way that, the hazies are, they don't feel at all like there's no heat to them. And so I think people can drink, you could have a couple of these versus a couple elevated, and sometimes with elevated after a while, as great of a beer as it is, you're still sitting there going, oof, okay, I guess I'm done. If I'm driving, I'm done. If you're down Launchpad watching a show or something. But with these kind of beers, I think there is that smoothness to them. It's hoppy, but it's really smooth, and so it kind of hits that middle ground. So for anybody that likes hops, which apparently is the majority of New Mexicans, drink this.
It seems like the hazy style maybe took a little while to catch on here. It's famously said that we're kind of behind on some trends. I don't necessarily think that's ever been the case with beer, but I know a lot of other places around the country were doing like this style of the juicy or New England style, whatever you want to call it, for a while. Do you guys think we're actually behind on that? And if so, like, how have we caught up, or how well have we done?
I think you can go back to what Franz was saying, and how about these are expensive beers to make. So if you're going to make an expensive beer, you got to be able to earn the money back.
Yes.
And I think it was sort of that combination of, can we upcharge a beer? And for a long time, remember, breweries were pretty consistent outside of the imperial strength beers. They were consistent with all beers at the same price. Nowadays, there's varying price points for beers. That's something that took a little while to take effect here. And I think that's just our economic situation. And let's face it, even middle-class people in New Mexico are cheap as hell. And so I think the big thing is breweries had to figure out, how to make these, give them that slight New Mexico twist, give them that little extra bit of hops so they weren't just pure juice, to give them a broader appeal. And they had to market them well. And ultimately, they needed the help of the old-fashioned beer geeks who were craving these from Vermont and other places where they first became popular, to convince the regular people that it can look like a Hefeweizen but still taste like an IPA. And I think it was just a combination.
And that took time. That took a few years.
Yeah. I think the general beer drinker in New Mexico, when we talk about things are slow to get here, I think the big thing I've always noticed about New Mexico is we're very content. We find something we love and we're content with it. And then somebody comes along and says, well, let's vary it up a little. And it takes a minute for people here to be like, okay. Whether it's beer, it's food, it's wine, it's anything. And I think that's kind of the main thing. I think there's certain people in the state and who are very vocal and very, when I say vocal, I mean on Twitter and Facebook and social media, they're very vocal about, we need this beer, we need this style, we need more breweries to make this style and experiment with this style. But I think for the breweries, they were like, that's great. You alone will not pay me back for the money I just spent on those hops. We need
Yep.
Joe Average to come in here too.
Yep.
And the more casual people, the people who just want to hang out on your patio on the weekend, we need those people to come out and drink this too, to make this at least break even or come close to it for the sales of our other beers. Because every brewery, as much as they're in the business of making great beer, they're also in the business of making money.
Yep.
And I think it had to reach a point where this style can be profitable in New Mexico. And it just,
it took a minute. It really took a minute.
Once
Go ahead.
Once it hit that point, they took off. It's evident by the fact that there's more and more breweries who have a hazy that you'll be able to, or breweries that you'll be able to go into that have a hazy readily available, at least a majority of the time these days. So it's definitely something that took a while, but the economic factor was a huge impact because, that's the one complaint that I've seen from a lot of people in the beer community, whether it be online or just in person, is that this specific style of beer is not prominent enough and they don't know why. And that's the one thing that I personally, just from having that type of inside knowledge that we just discussed, it costs a lot of money for these breweries to make these damn beers. If you guys out there knew how much these hop contracts that they have run, especially nowadays, it's cutthroat with the hop market. You got to pay a premium to get like the quality of fresh hops, the varieties of hops that you need to make it.
For example, like if I was to go out as a home brewer and try to buy a pound of Mosaic or Strata or Nelson Sauvin, $22 a pound, and we're talking they're using boxes that are 44 pounds each, and multiples of those going into each batch of this. So do the math. If you're lucky enough to get it under contract and in enough quantity to fulfill your demand for a particular beer in a particular style, then that can go down somewhat. But I mean, unless you're under contract, you're kind of screwed and have to just get what you can on the open market.
And that's a big thing too when you're talking about contracts. So pre-COVID-19, we had more than 90 operational breweries in New Mexico. I'd say maybe 10 of those could afford to have hop contracts because of the amount. With the hop contract, it's not just about the price; it's about the volume, the amount of hops you have to buy. And most of our breweries, Santa Fe Brewing was up to about 33,000 barrels. They were the first brewery since before Prohibition to eclipse 30,000 barrels in New Mexico. The old New Mexico, the old Southwestern Brewery and Ice Company, located downtown. You can still see one of the buildings. Read my book. They were the last one. Yeah,
shameless plug.
Yep, shameless plug. They were the last one to go over 30,000, and that was in 1907. After that, Marble's a little over 20,000. Bosque, La Cumbre, they're kind of in that 15,000 barrel range. And, even for them to have hop contracts, it was not easy. It was a major investment for them. And, I'll see a lot of people going like, well, why are pints now $5.50? Why are pints $6 now? And I'm like, there's 8,000 breweries in America. There's only so much land on which to grow hops and malt.
Everyone wants the same damn hops.
Right. Yes. I mean, and what was it? It was the Citra crop. Like 25% of the Citra crop last year was lost.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Lost.
That was terrible.
Citra just went. And guess what is the most popular hop in America? Yes, that's
Citra.
right. It's Citra. Because there is no more juicy hop it's named appropriately. It is the Citra hop. It is citrus. And I really think that, I remember years ago, people were like, hop contracts are a lie. And I'm like, oh, son, no.
No.
But yeah, it really was. The cost of these beers was just, it wasn't worth it to a brewery. But now, La Cumbre does rotating hazies, kind of like they do rotating Project Tank. But we have year-round hazies, Mañana from Steelbender. we have the year-round hazy, I'm forgetting its exact name, but the one from Bosque, and you've got
Open
year-round
space.
Open space.
right? And there's one other brewery that's got the
Desert Fog from Marble.
yes. And a few like I mean it when I say a few years ago, no one knew they could do it. It took Boxing Bear how many tries to get to the recipe to Headlock, which is now their year-round hazy IPA.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even then they got to where they wanted it on draft, and then they had to tweak it again to make it viable.
To figure out how it would sit in cans, and that has to do with protein content and a whole bunch of other things. It ain't easy.
No, it's not. It's not. And I think the good thing is most people are willing to be more educated about beers and the process of making beer and the cost of making beer. And, luckily, until this pandemic came along, we were still growing. We were growing a number of breweries. We were growing in individual breweries. Year by year, they were making more beer. So hopefully they were making more money.
Yep.
And it was good to see, it was really good to see the growth of the industry. Everyone always, it was funny how at a certain point though, the question from who's next became, well, who's going to close? And, we still never saw a major die-off of breweries, and hopefully we won't now, but obviously nobody knows what the future is going to hold, because all of a sudden
everything's closed for an indefinite period until
right.
Whenever.
For a while there, it was
like,
well, we'll miss my parents' anniversary on the 12th, but we'll take Dad out for his birthday on the 24th. And now it's like, will I even get to go out on my birthday on May 4th?
Probably not. Me neither on May 26th. I honestly think probably not. But
and it's sort of like that. It's just like, okay, well, that's the night we pick out the big boys out of our beer cellars
and do a meeting.
Yes.
Oh God, that's going to be a rough night.
We don't have to publish that. We don't have to put that online.
But we will.
That isn't a good idea, my friend.
Oh God, and I'll be like double timing. I'll have hey, everybody's on the party house. The only good thing is, of course, none of us are driving.
Yes. So that's good.
I do like that. I do like that the breweries kind of universally agreed that 8 p.m. should be closing time. I know for some of them it's just because that's, people aren't ordering too much food after 8 o'clock, except weirdos like our friends going to Quarter Celtic on a Wednesday.
Hey.
And us.
They kept the cooks busy. We all kept the cooks busy. That was Wings Wednesday. God bless them.
Delicious.
The
Winchester. Shameless plug again.
Yes.
I still have 2 crowlers. We have to figure out what we're doing the last 2. They're ours.
Oh, we'll
figure it out.
Since I had an extra, y'all can have them. You're good.
Okay. All right, Brandon, I'll bring you a Winchester crowler. One more.
Yes. Outstanding.
We have the recipe. We can brew unlimited amount.
Yes.
Well, hey, if they were willing to put that into the World Beer Cup, may God rest its soul, then we should be able to actually brew the Winchester again. So maybe that'll be like our big comeback moment where it's like the Brew Crew is back making beer again with Quarter Celtic. Or
wink, wink. Brendan, Brady, if you're out there, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Say them all.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing is Brady's old enough, he'll actually get the Monty Python reference. Sorry, Brady. Oh. Let's put it this way.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
Your beer history moment of the night is that Brady was brewing beer before any of us could legally drink it. In fact, Brady was brewing beer before at least 2 of the people in this room could even drive a car.
What year was this?
1994?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was born in 84. Yeah,
no, you couldn't drive yet. No. I could drive, not well, but I could drive. Because back then, geniuses in New Mexico were like, sure, if you're 15, you can have a driver's license.
I think I snuck in on that too. Yeah, I snuck in on that one too before everything got a lot more difficult. Not that it was a good idea, but then again, cars were a lot heavier and a lot slower. So More steel, less plastic.
Oh God, that craptastic hatchback 1980 Honda Accord. Oh.
Did you have to re-vulcanize the tires frequently?
No, I never reached that point. The head gasket exploded, and then a guy driving a stolen Lexus hit me outside of the Albuquerque Academy gates.
Mm.
The stories of yore.
Tomorrow is National Beer Day.
All right.
And I'll be brewing our Smarchtoberfest recipe. And for those of you who don't know about Smarch, that's from The Simpsons and lousy Smarch weather. And yeah, we have it. We definitely have it. The wind is going.
It's been a lousy Smart. So
it's been the lousiest Smarch in my 38 years. Just about.
Yes.
So,
hello.
Anyway, this is a Meritzen. It's very traditional and delicious, and maybe it'll pop up on one of our toasts at some point or something.
Yeah, and actually, Toltec is releasing Marvin the Meritzen this week.
Outstanding.
Very nice.
Outstanding.
I know. I'm like, Kaylin, I was looking to not have to keep driving over to the west side. There's Boxing Bears now on the east side, and it's like, between you and Novo.
Well, I'll make the Toltec run this week then.
Okay.
I'll pick up for us.
Yeah, you need the Imperial Stout for sure.
Yes, I have to go get that. Try and get that.
Yeah, we're gonna be drinking Russian Imperial or Crowlers right by ourselves.
We're prepared for this.
Stranger things have happened.
There's going to be a lot of, and now we're back without any of us leaving our chairs.
Right. We're responsible people.
Multiple films.
We're not leaving the house at this time of night.
No, we're not.
For fear of being shot. We saw the video. I saw the video of the police in some town down south playing the sound from The Purge, the siren at when curfew kicked in. It's just like, oh hell no, no.
I mean, at least around here on the west side, all you'd have to worry about are the racers shooting off on the mesa and whatnot. But still not something you want to be doing.
Yeah, please, Burke, just hang in there.
Stay the fuck home and chill out as best you can. I know it's fucking hard.
Just say, okay, so you got Netflix. You know what? Get the Disney, Hulu, ESPN Plus package. Just do it. Get Amazon Prime. Add another streaming service. To hell with it. The government's paying for it, right? That check will roll in eventually. Just do it.
Right? Right?
Agreed. Just stay the fuck home, people. Please.
Yeah.
Just for a while. Please. Trust me, I want to go out. I want to go to a metal show. I want to act the fool and run.
Oh, God.
Insomnium and Omnium Gatherum are playing a live show, live sets
Friday
on this Friday. Yeah.
Yes, that is excellent. Yeah, shameless plug for any of you metalheads out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They lost a bunch of money on their tour, so please support them however you can, and any other artists you love for whatever reason.
The artists,
because performers and artists got totally screwed by this. So take care of them best you can. I mean, of course, take care of yourselves first.
Yeah. And then buy some hoodies.
Hoodies. All the hoodies.
You can never have too many hoodies.
No.
All right. So once again, this is the Brew Crew. We're signing off. Thanks for listening, watching, all this fun stuff. Support local.
Support local. Cheers. Stay safe. And we're back.
Okay.